Good
Good
morning,
morning,
ma'am.
Good
ma'am.
morning.
It is late.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay. Children, today our topic is from geography, forest and wildlife resources. That is second lesson from your geography. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
What do you know about this forest and wildlife resources? I think you had last year also, isn't it?
Yes.
You had,
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
forest and colonialism, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the same thing. But here we will be dealing regarding that topography, geographical way. We are going to learn about this lesson and what is happening to this forest resources and wildlife resources, how it is depleted, and how the deforestation happens, and even that conservation methods. All these things, all this stuff, you will be knowing it. So now first in this contents, as per the same thing as introduction, what is biodiversity, you know what is flora and fauna, and what is meant by forests, and how many types of forests are there, why these forests are vanishing, what is wildlife, and what is the importance of forests and wildlife, and types of species, all the both the species of flora and fauna, and its extinction and depletion of flora and fauna, as well as how we are going to same thing what I told in simple way. We are seeing the contents of the points what we are going to see with regard to conserve forest and wildlife, and forest and wildlife conservation strategies, as well as role played by the community, and finally the project tiger. What was the project started in order to safeguard or protect the tiger species? So what is biodiversity? The variety of flora and fauna, you know that what is biodiversity, is given in geographical area is called biodiversity of that area. So we are going to learn the complete picture about flora and fauna. That is meant that how far that particular given geographical area is concerned is called as biodiversity. And it also refers to much of many of the species of flora and fauna, both the plant life and animal life. Then introduction part, the earth has immense biodiversity, and we humans with all living organisms form a complex web of ecological system in which we are only a part and very much dependent on this system for our own existence. And forests play a key role in the ecological system as these are also the primary producers on which living beings depend. In sectors of Indian economy, we came across the primary sector. In that, forest-based products are also called, are coming under the category of primary sector. So here, the forests are playing a key role in the ecological system, and they are the primary producers on which living beings depend. So we are dependent on forests. We are dependent, and all the living beings, not only we human beings, even the animal life is also dependent. So the interdependence of plants and animals as well as human beings or whatever it is, the living beings will be dependent or interdependence will be with each other. First, we are going to know about flora. Flora means you know very well that it is plant life, and it is referring to native plant life as well as the species in the plant life. So flora of India is concerned as one of the richest in the world due to the wide range of climate, topology, and habitat in the country. You are very aware of that. All our different types of soils are helping us to cultivate many types of crops. Like that, our soil is also helping us to have the India to be the richest one as far as forests are concerned. And we have nearly 16,000. When speaking about the plant life, we have nearly how many species? 16,000 species of flowering plants in India. So only flowering plants alone, we are having nearly about the total about 16,000 species of plant life as per the flowering plants. These are the images just like that. These have become, extant. They're not available. Just like that, to know the images have been put. And next is the fauna. Fauna means the animal life, you know very well. The fauna is used to denote species of animals, and you'll be knowing the fauna by itself was the name of a Roman goddess representing fertility and the earth. So fauna means they have the name has been derived from the Roman goddess, It means the meaning is this fertility and the earth. That means more and more vegetation, forest cover, as well as everything is coming under, this animal life. We are going to speak about this. Now, over 81,000 species. Before we had plant life was flowering plants of 60,000 species. And here we are having 81,000 species of fauna are found in India. India is home to several well-known large mammals of around 500 different species, along with species of insects, birds, reptiles, and amphibians. You know, animal life means what all the different species are. For example, they are insects, from insects to that of big animals, birds, reptiles, as well as amphibians also are involved. And these are the pictures you'll be knowing. They are big. We are not unable to see them now. What is happening to all these? Now, types of forest. Right from your grades, lower grades, you have learned about types of forest. You know what type of forest we are having, and almost all over the world. So we have tropical evergreen forest, tropical deciduous forest, and tropical thorn forest, as well as mountain forest and mangrove forest. You know how for what is the meaning of this also we have learned. You will be knowing just for discussing that the types of forests. We need not learn them in detail because our topic is only concerned with forests and wildlife, the species of plant life and animal life. Then this Project Tiger you will be coming. These are the images inserted in between so that you will be knowing. Then these are actually normal species. Normal species means that they can live. See, just we'll see. India flora and fauna in India. And as I told, all this we have discussed, and the data will be differing according to this present day textbook will be giving you new data also, children. But still, flowering plants, we discussed that there are more than 16,000 and more than 80,000 of fauna have been found. This is nothing else the data that I have told you now before itself. Now passing on to this, these are the images you'll be knowing. So normal species, as I told you, see, I'll show you. These are called as normal species. So what are those normal species means? We'll read. A species means that they are living, that is normal life is going on for their survival. That is nothing is happening and no disturbances. What are the examples of that normal species is cattle, sal, pine, and rodents. I think you understood this. See, I'll show you a picture. See, cattle, pine tree, salt tree, as well as the rodents, these type of rodents. So these are the normal species. And coming back to endangered species, these species which are in danger of extinction and their survival will not happen if the negative factors that have led to decline in their population continue to operate. So if any the negative factors are completely it is going on encouraged, that it is the process is going on of its decline. If the negative factors are there, then these particular species are in danger. That is called as endangered species. So what we should do, what government should take steps to protect them, use all the measures to protect, how to protect them, everything should be seen, and we'll be knowing it, what all the steps taken by the government also. So these are endangered species. What are those endangered species? It is the examples of black buck, crocodile, Indian wild ass, and Indian rhino, lion-tailed macaque, and Shanghai. See, you can see macaque, you can see, as well as that this other one, the black striped deer. These are supposed to be endangered species. I think it is called as Shanghai also. Then again, these are vulnerable species. We'll see that what is meant by vulnerable species. This is also again that the steps are not taken for them to protect, and the factors are not dealing with they are just provoking them to decline. Then they will be declining. Then you won't see these particular species. So vulnerable species with these species whose population has declined to levels from where it is likely to move into the endangered category. So from vulnerable category, they'll move to endangered. That means if the steps are not taken by the government or by us, and we are just provoking the negative factors for them not to continue, then again, this will also be declined. So they are going to put this vulnerable species will be taking their step into the endangered category. So all these species, the types of how the species are day by day, they are vanishing. You're seeing. So first we saw normal species. Secondly, we saw endangered species that they are supposed to be declined. And thirdly, we are saying vulnerable species, that this vulnerable species also will go to the category of endangered species. Now, rare species. Rare species means we have species with small population only. Some rarely only will see them. We don't see much of abundance of that population will not be seen regarding this species. That is called rare species. We won't see them. So only in some parts it will be they are available. But these also should be protected. Again, if the negative factors are there affecting them to continue to operate, so we have to take steps to protect them also, the rare species, because we have lesser number. That lesser number also should be protected, and some measures should be taken. What are the examples of that rare species? Is the Himalayan broke bear, wild Asiatic buffalo, desert fox, and hornbill. It is very interesting to know the different varieties of species, the names of the species, isn't it? Animal life or plant life. Then you'll be seeing endemic species. Endemic species, the pictures are given, the images are given. That endemic species means these are found only in some parts of the places, either in a country or in the continents. We'll see endemic species means whatever the particular species are available in particular geographical or natural areas will be seen. So they are called as endemic species. And the examples of that endemic species are Andaman teal, Nicobar pigeon, Andaman wild pig, and mithun in Arunachal Pradesh. Next, coming back to extinct species. So these are the species which are not found after searches also. So we have lost them. So a species may be extinct from a local area, as I told you, either in a region, a country, continent, wherever it is, confined to that particular areas, whichever the species are available in any of the areas, that they're completely depleted. We don't know, they're extinct. That is called as extinct species. No more they are. What are those? The Asiatic cheetah and pink-head duck. These are not to be seen at all now. So finally, how many types of species we have learned? We have learned first normal species, then endangered species, vulnerable species, rare species, as well as endemic species and extinct species. So you should write the species, different species of fauna. You should be able to write these 6 types of species, and you should be able to explain. Sometimes they ask question 5 marks or 3 marks also. Some reasons for depletion. So firstly, you know very well that due to climatic conditions, very hot conditions or very cool conditions, cold conditions also will not be will not be suitable for the plant life or animal life to grow, to continue its survival. So this is one. The climatic heating and cooling is one of the reasons also. So causes we are learning one by one. Then again, resources may be, obtaining directly or indirectly from forest and wildlife. So causes of depletion of flora and fauna, we are both mixing up together, and we are learning whatever it is, what are the causes for its depletion. So directly or indirectly, some or the other way, some loss is happening to this forest as well as this forest cover as well as the wildlife. So you know very well about colonialism. We have learned in 9th grade, forest and colonialism. That is Britishers, they have done wonderful measures expanding or expansion of railway system and many agricultural, because lack of due to population growth of population, we needed more and more agricultural for continuing our agricultural activity. We have just shifted, turned out a forest cover to make it used for growing crops. That also was one other. And for our facilities, expansion of railways happened. And again, they introduced commercial and scientific forestry also. For that also, they needed the forest cover. And these have been done. Like this way, the forest cover have been depleted during the colonial rule. And even mining activity, because this became one of the economic measure for us to earn revenues. So this mining activity became the foremost one, and they have introduced it. And these all are the factors that led to the causes of this depletion of flora and fauna. Then after independence, slowly we are learning children one by one point, step by step. After independence, you know that our 5-year plans gave importance to the expansion of agriculture. So for that, we are in need of land. So we have to use some of the forest cover to cultivate our crops. Then comes plantation. Plantation agriculture have been introduced by the Britishers also. And they said that only single type of species will be planted over there, whereas other species are losing their importance. Like that it happened. So what is one the best they think that we are doing, or some of the other disadvantage will happen, demerit will be there normally. Then again, large scale development projects. You know that many large scale development projects, river valley projects also happen. For that sake, they have to use the nearby forest areas, and they have to shift it because we are in need of more and more land. For that also, we have to use the forest cover. As I told, we discussed mining and grazing of animals. So the animals coming and grazing as they like. The people who are domesticating animals will send their animals to these forest areas, and more and more animals. See, that calculations will be more, how much ever I mean more we are the grazing is done, that much loss, because the animals don't know that even they are eating the important species also. Like that also we are losing away the plant life, the different species of plant life. Then again, fuel. For wood collection, the people are moving from to the forest cover, the nearby villages. The people who are living nearby villages, they are going and just taking away all the products whichever is available to them, and they'll be selling and making use for their domestic purposes or household purposes. Then again, for industrialization, to develop more and more industries and urbanization happen, and for that also we have to just uh, deduct this forest cover, and this is also one of the cause. And hunting, especially, you know very well, hunting is done for getting all the parts of that import, like skin, whatever that skin of that hides, as well as their hair, nails of that particular animals. They are in need for some sentimental issues also, and for hunting, for their entertainment, I mean, just to make them as with hunting. That is also another important factor it became for the exploitation of these animals. Then over exploitation, that is overusing, and we don't know how to make use of that, and we are wasting. That is also one of the resources are wasted. Then environmental pollution, because if forest cover is cut down every day, I mean, gradually we are cutting it down, what is happened, definitely pollution happens, and that is also one of the factor. And poisoning and forest fires, you can see the picture there. Suddenly the forest fires happen, knowingly or unknowingly, or either it is human activities, might be, and sometimes it will happen. And unequal access, and we don't know how to make use of that also. The gradual use of that particular resources are also not known. And inequitable consumption of resources, in differential sharing and responsibility for environmental well-being. And finally, overpopulation. So many causes are there for us to know that why this flora and fauna have been depleted. And human causes, you know very well that what are I mean, it is done directly by human beings. We ourselves, without knowingly or unknowingly, I told you that it happens. See, like nature will be transformation of nature into resources, and human activities leading to global warming, and illegal hunting, illegal killing, poaching of fauna. This all we discussed already. And we discussed already that colonial period, what are the measures taken by them. They immediately took that forest cover should be, I mean, should be cut short, and that should be made use for some other developmental purposes, like large scale developmental projects, as well as mining for the sake of economic purposes. And this has been impact on the society, children. You know that in some areas, women have to, because they have to do all the domestic work, and they are going some miles and miles together to get one pot of water. And the effect is shown immediately on the society and on the people. And these resources, because of depletion of resources, people have to suffer in this way. And nearby forest area, the whoever is living in that villages, they will go and just pluck whatever the fuel for their fuel, fodder, water, everything they are also going and taking. That is also one cause. But people are suffering, and people are also taking away their forest products. So like this, the social impact is there on, because when these resources depleted, and these are the reasons how the people are suffering. And finally, it is leading to land degradation, drought conditions, or deforestation happens, and it is also inducing for floods. And again, it is causing, finally, it is we are running under poverty. So poverty is because people are unable to come up in their development. Then dependent communities, as I told you, dependent, some people, some communities are dependent. For example, tribal people were there in the forest cover. But this dependent population, what is happening if the deforestation happens? People will not be able to live over there, and they have to move from their places, from that places, and they have to move to nearby villages and towns, take houses for rent. Here they used to live freely, making their own huts or whatever it is. So they have to come out of that, and tribal people and some communities are also, they are dependent on this forest areas where this has become a loss for them because they have to come out of that. And even it is happening for the wildlife. When the forest, the trees are cut like that, where the animal life will take their shelter under the shade of the trees, or any of the caves or under the rock areas, where will these animals take shelter? So that is for both the communities as well as the animal life are also, they are losing their dependence of in the forest cover. Then why do we need to conserve our forest? Because we have discussed that we'll be growing gradually, that we have to conserve our forest, that we have to preserve, and because of all these reasons. And we are preserving the genetic diversity of plants and animals also for the growth of better species and breeding. That we are doing. After we lost, we are learning that importance, that we should conserve it in order to get, in order to save or store or reserve for us, for our country, or we are speaking about on the whole generally. Then again, conservation of forest and wildlife is, what are the acts taken by the government? The Indian Wildlife Protection Act was implemented in 1972. This program actually, what it says, to protect the remaining population at least, not to move into the endangered species, by banning hunting, giving legal protection to their habitats, and restricting trade in wildlife. So this, by this act of 1972, the Indian Wildlife Protection Act was implemented in the year 1972, and it has taken out, the steps have taken according to this act were these, just to conserve as well as protect the animal life and their habitats. Then central government and many governments established national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biodiversity parks, all these in order to protect our species. Then the central government also announced several projects for protecting specific animals. As I told you, Project Tiger. That is, they have done a project itself with regard to the tiger, that the tiger species should not be depleted. Then government's categorization of forests. Accordingly, government itself have divided the forest cover into three types. One is the reserved forest. They said that it is very valuable forest. They declared that the reserved forest is of good value. And as far as the conservation of forest and wildlife resources are concerned, so that reserved forest is very much important, that it is dealt by the government of central government. Then again, next type of forest is protected forest. Some type of lands, some particular forest cover has been taken charge by the forest department, and they declared that it is a forest, protected forest. So one is the reserved forest, it is a valuable forest, it is reserved. And second type of forest is protected forest, where it is taken under, it is coming under the forest department, and they protect that particular forest cover, and it is called as protected forest. And third one is unclassed forest, that it is taken by in charge by some private individuals and communities. You know, even today in some forest areas, some communities are taking charge of that particular piece of forest covers, and they are taking charge, and they will not allow anybody else, even police or anybody else, to enter into their particular areas. So that is called as unclassed forests. So new trends in conservation policies. So what should we do? We should increase biodiversity. For that, what are the steps we are going to take? Is the same thing, repeated thing, that government will take, the government of India will take much of the conservation planning measures. And in the Notification and a Wildlife Act of 1980 and 86, several hundred butterflies, moths, beetles, and one dragonfly have been added to the list of protected species. So we did not leave away even the insect species also. We have added that also according to the Act of 1980 and 86, that these species also should be protected. Children, how many of our species we have, that is a heritage for our country. So for that sake, we should protect them. And one or the other, the interdependence is there. So for that sake also, we have to take steps to conserve these particular species or protect them. And in 1991, for the first time, plants were also added to the list, starting with 6 species. Okay. Then conservation process and community. So how are we going to conserve this particular processes are dealt with? Again, coming out in areas of India, local communities, as I told you, some communities itself have taken charges of particular forest cover. Let us see some examples. See, government officials recognizing that only this will secure their own long-term livelihood. For that sake, they have to conserve the areas. For example, Sarsika Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan, villagers have fought against mining by citing the Wildlife Protection Act. In many areas, villagers themselves are protecting habitats and explicitly rejecting government involvement. So they're not allowing the police or government also to enter that particular area. And Sarsika Tiger Reserve is that just to protect the, fight against mining, that no person, a private individual or the government activity should not come with regard to mining over that particular project place in Rajasthan. And the inhabitants of 5 villages in the Alwar district of Rajasthan have declared 1,200 hectares of forest as a Bairodev Dhaka, that is sanctuary, declaring their own set of rules and regulations which do not allow hunting and are protecting the wildlife against any outside encroachment. So that particular part of lands, forest cover is protected by these people, the community people, and they are taking steps to protect even the wildlife. That they are not the involvement of government or any outsiders encroachment or hunting. Everything is prohibited in these areas. So in that way, our community people are doing service by protecting, and government is also taking steps by involving itself in construction of many national parks and providing the environment facilities, like how the animals used to live in the forest, that we are creating all those facilities for that animals, whatever the animals they are bringing up and putting out, in making them to live in this area. They are not just putting them inside some boxes or anything else, just saving them or protecting them, just leaving them aside, and the whole, the fencing will be done for their sake to protect that particular type of animal species. So that is also done. And about nature worship, coming back to this tribal people, nature worship is there, and some areas have been declared as that forest should not be cut down, or that any use or hunting or any government issues should not happen over there. And they declared themselves as sacred groves. That means the forests of gods and goddesses. So they declare that sentimentally people will not touch, isn't it? If you say that that belongs to some, because the old tribal people have been basing that particular thing. And nature worship, right from our ancient period, where people had that nature worship. They use, even today we worship that plant called tulsi, neem, like that. So even these particular places are concerned as sacred groves, and these patches of forest or parts of large forest have been left untouched by local people, and any interference with them has been banned. So this also helped to protect the forest. This is also one type of conservation only. And coming back to tribes, that Mundas and Santals of Chotanagpur region worship. They worship Mahua and Kadamba trees. And the tribals of Orissa and Bihar worship tamarind. Tamarind tree, they worship tamarind tree and the mango trees during weddings. And to many of us, people and banyan trees, that Gautama Buddha got, he enlightened by sitting under the banyan tree. And even these particular trees are concerned as sacred trees. And even mango leaves during any festivals will be putting out, we use it as one of the important for sacred issues. So like this, children, the tribal people also belonging to Chotanagpur region, they have worshipped many trees like this. So you're not supposed to cut down those trees. The tribal people will not keep quiet in that areas we are going, and the government is taking steps to do the deforestation activities, then it will not be possible in such areas. So different tribes also have protected the areas. Even the forest cover is protected today also. Some forest reserved, we will not be able to go there itself, because like that brutal manner the people behave, the tribes behave in that way. And Indian society comprises of several cultures, as you know. It has set traditional methods of conserving nature and its creations, and are often ascribed to springs, mountain peaks, and plants and animals which are closely protected. So you will find troops of macacos and langurs around many temples. They are fed daily and treated as a part of temple devotees. In and around Bishnoi villages in Rajasthan, herds of blackbuck and nilgai and peacocks. This you see, even peacocks in our places also we see near the temple areas. So these are like this way, at least we are protecting them, though they are not in forest areas. At least in the temple atmosphere, they have been protected. And conservation and different movements. So Chipko movement was started in the Himalayas. That means, and they resisted deforestation. has shown that community deforestation with indigenous species can be enormously successful. So deforestation, if they want to cut the trees and particular species over there, that charge should be given to community, but still they have stopped it. So the famous Chipko movement was started in Himalayas and not letting the interference of the other people. Then forest management movements. So Beach Bachao, Andalan and Tehri and now Dhania have shown adequate levels. These are that made by the groups made by the farmers and citizens groups. They are to show that crop production will be done without using any chemicals, and they will use only that a diversified crop production without the use of synthetic chemicals are possible and economically visible. Then now, I mean, it is viable. Now it is going up. It is happening this. By that, we will get organic farming is also done. And in India, joint forest management that is called as JFM also. They might ask you question in this. What is meant by abbreviation of JFM, or they will ask in 5 marks also. Give the detailed note of this, the program done by JFM, like that. So it is one of the good examples for involving local communities in the management and restoring of degraded forests. So the forest cover is given in charge to some community people or private individuals so that they will develop. Like how privatization happens, even this forest cover, the area is also given this particular this JFM program is furnishing as a good example. And the program has been in formal existence since 1988, when the state of Orissa passed the first resolution for joint forest management. And the JFM depends on the formation of local institutions that undertake protection activities, mostly of degraded forest land managed by the forest department. So members of these communities are entitled to intermediary benefits like non-timber forest producers and share in the timber harvested by. So you know that smuggling, logging, lumbering happens in some places, and illegal trade also happens to that. Smuggling of these particular timber is happening. For this also, the JFM is helping a lot to protect the forest cover and forest products. Now, importance of forest and wildlife. The Forest Act as watershed. They are habitat for wildlife, and they give us economic benefits, and they help in climate control, and they also help in balancing ecosystem. They maintain food chains, and they act as means of recreation also. But recreation is stopped now anyway. We are not going out. I mean, for hunting is prohibited in some forest areas. And the clear lesson from the dynamics of both government is taking many steps. During the colonialism itself, the Britishers have taken many steps, but they used for economic purposes. To earn more and more revenues, their measures were applicable. Whereas they did not protect the forest cover as well as the plant life as both the flora and fauna. But now today we are in need of protecting them because it is heritage to our country. As you have seen children, as for plant life, we have got one important particular tree, it has been depleted. That particular tree is very useful for the protection of some diseases, people from some diseases, especially cancer. So that is vanishing today. We are not finding that particular, that is called as Himalayan yew. It is grown in Himachal Pradesh, where this bark, needles, twigs and roots of this tree are used for giving treatment for cancer, and that we are not. If it is there, see nowadays, due to that the living world, how we are living today, and many people are affected by cancer disease, and that through Ayurveda, the people used to give treatment by using this, but completely it has vanished. So whatever the important, the species which are important, that also have been not to be seen today. They have been extinct. So it will be very good if we are making them, if conserving them or taking steps to protect them. All this will be taken care. Sir? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, can you share the video? Did it come?
Yes.
Today, we'll learn about endangered and extinct animals. There are many reasons that make an animal endangered and extinct. Destruction of habitat, pollution, hunting, fishing, high genetic vulnerability, diseases, and low birth rates are the main causes. Let's learn about endangered animals first. Animals present in such small numbers that it is at risk of extinction are called endangered animals. Some endangered animals are tigers. The tiger has long been hunted for its nicely patterned fur. It is dying also because of habitat loss. Tiger numbers have fallen by about 95%, and some species are already extinct. Sea turtles. They are killed for their eggs, meat, skin, and shells. They also suffer from overexploitation and poaching. Now, there are less than 1 million sea turtles left. Amur leopard. It's hunted for its beautiful fur. Now, fewer than 60 Amur leopards are left. Gorillas. There are currently only 200 to 300 cross-river gorillas and about 900 mountain gorillas left. Rhinos. They are endangered due to poaching for their horns. Disease and natural disasters are also threatening the rhino with extinction. Some other endangered animals are orangutans, Sumatran elephants, pandas, vaquitas, and pangolins. Let's learn about extinct animals. When an entire species of animals die out, that species is extinct. Once it becomes extinct, it is gone forever. Some extinct animals are dinosaurs. A dinosaur is a type of ancient reptile that lived millions of years ago all over the world. The last dinosaurs are known from about 65 million years ago. Their extinction is still a scientific mystery. Woolly mammoths. It was about the size of today's African elephant. They lived in cold places and became extinct due to harsh climate and hunting. Short-faced bears. It was found before the era of polar bears. It disappeared about 11,000 years ago due to poaching and too much hunting. Irish elk. It was one of the largest deer ever at about 6.9 feet tall. Some scientists say they went extinct when the antlers became very big. Dire wolf. It was about 25% larger than today's gray wolf. It preyed on wild horses, mastodons, and camels. They became extinct due to lack of food and habitat. Thylacine, saber-toothed cat, and aurochs are some other extinct animals. Now, you know a lot about endangered and extinct animals. Please drop a like, leave a comment, share the videos, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.
So children,
Yes, ma'am.
and this is for internal assessment. This topic is not added for annual exam. This is for internal assessment, but you should do something, some project to show to the board people that we have done this topic for internal assessment. So what you do is the homework, like you take any colorful A4 sheet or this a chart paper and divide that particular chart with 6 species. Try to stick the pictures of whatever endangered species, whatever extinct species or vulnerable species, those names of that animals, as well as some plants if it is available in the net, or otherwise take up only animal life. Stick with the pictures and then write information about each of that little bit, not more and more. But you have to take all the 6 pieces, divide that particular chart into columns, and stick the pictures of animals and write the information about that. This we have to show to the board people because this lesson is not added for your annual exam. But internal assessment marks we should give you. Understood?
Yes,
So you have to, you should, children, though it is holidays, you can enjoy it for a while, but you have to do some of the other homeworks. Please do this project. Don't forget to do. This we have to submit. Sometimes suddenly they will ask for submission. So we have to submit. But this lesson is for internal assessment. Clear? If you want, you can give reading to the lesson and you can understand again. Is it clear, children? It is a small lesson, easy, but still you have to do this project. This project will be considered for internal assessment. Clear?
Yeah, ma'am.
After you, yes, you say you don't have a textbook or nothing else. You can just download the matter, the subject, the lesson from the net. It is available in the net, please. NCERT book, you can just click and you will get it. Okay, children, any questions?
Ma'am,
Any more? Tell.
ma'am, for the project you said you have to stick print out the pictures of animals, right? Hello.
It's not audible, ma. You're not audible to me. Tell.
Ma'am, you said we have to stick pictures of animals for the project, right?
Yeah.
I don't have printer and I
Yeah.
can't figure out.
Yeah. You can't do.
Yes, ma'am.
At least collect information and keep.
Yes, ma'am.
Collect the information and keep. Afterwards, we will do. Okay? Collect the information, write in a book or anything else and keep it safe. And after coming, you will just collect the pictures. You'll take any from print or anything else and you'll stick it and do and give the project. But I need all the children projects, isn't it? I should show that all 23 members projects should be there available with me. Okay? Then they'll ask me how you give marks for internal assessment, means I should tell no children. So you have to for this project compulsory. Now ample of time, you can do it. At least from your old textbooks, if this wild animals pictures will be available, if you can get any of, okay? Tell.
Ma'am, is this chapter coming for
Tell,
the
Maisha.
Ma'am, is this chapter coming for the 40 marks exam?
40 marks exam, I know.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
But these marks will be considered. This project marks, we will consider it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Whatever we are going to get for annual exam only, you will get for 40 marks or 80 marks. Because we have to train up in that lessons only. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
But project is compulsory. Nobody should say only one member telling, delaying children. Please, everybody should have the project. Okay? Then only you will be getting internal marks. And then anything else? Any doubts? Easy, because already we learned forest and colonialism. Through that way, you can understand some points are the same points, isn't it? Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Last year's points? Same points are there here somewhere. Only that thing, we have to know the different names of the animals and plant species. Okay, children. It's time already. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Bye,
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. Thank you, Ahmed sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.